Good afternoon. The time is 12:03, and this is Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm George Cummings.
I'm T. Katz.
I don't know why I need to point at you.
I don't know.
Like,
I know.
You're not going to remember your name or when to come in.
Well, there are days. There are days.
Who
am I? Why
surprisingly, this is probably a day for me.
Did I get more initials today? No, I'm still T.
You're
Katz.
still T. We have a very exciting day today.
Currently, we have a couple of guests that I am beyond pleased to interview. We have Angela Carole Brown and Hans San Juan. Now, these two people they're musicians. Angela, I have to say, is an artist, but she's got all the senses going. If you go to her website, it'll say like ear and eye, because she's a graphic artist. She's also a musician. I fully expect a perfume line, a recipe book, and possibly textiles by the end of the year.
Perhaps a restaurant chain.
I'm telling you, this woman is phenomenal. She's an artist in every true sense, a true Renaissance woman. And Hans San Juan is also a musician who is a young man. I wanted to know earlier whose soul he took from Pink Floyd, because he does his music, what he creates, has a taste of Pink Floyd, but beyond that, it's very mesmerizing. It is truly hypnotic. And what makes these two even more interesting, besides the fact that they're both wildly creative, besides sharing music, they actually share something. Angela is a kidney donor, and Hans was the recipient of it. Best kidney ever, because she's so creative that I'm going to start to expect some more from you, sir. I want to see a book. I want to see, because Angela is also an author, and she has a book that we're going to talk a little bit about. But welcome to Friday Matinee.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to have you both here.
The button I pushed, that the cattle prod goes into the interns'
yeah, they're
chairs,
pretty quiet out there until you push that button.
That's true.
And then they cheer, and then we keep them down.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit about not only your. Well, I'm going to start first here and work a little bit backwards on your slight, not really degree of separation. How did you come to decide to give your kidney? That is not an easy thing to do. It's like, don't they have to almost saw you in half to get to it? As far
I
as
struggle
donating?
sharing a cheeseburger with people at lunch.
Right.
And you made a great life sacrifice for this young man who is incredibly talented.
Yes.
First of all, how did you meet?
Good friends with his parents. We met in a bar. Actually, Jack's in Glendale.
The great enemy of the kidney, by the way.
Jack's in Glendale, which is a great jazz bar, by the way.
Yes, and I was doing a gig there with my jazz quartet, and Hans's folks are great music fans, and they go out and see live music all the time, and that's how we met. Yeah.
And then how old was Hans at that time?
Oh, God. I've probably known them 10 years now, maybe. So, how old are you now? 24?
Yeah.
But I didn't meet Hans for quite a few years after meeting his folks.
And then how did the conversation come up that he needed, that he was in need of
Well,
this?
His family just sort of put it out there to their circle of friends that there was this need for a living donor, because he'd been on the wait list for a cadaver kidney, I guess, for a while, and was told that prognosis wasn't going to be, terribly positive, that he'd probably be on it longer than, he'd be alive. So it was clear that he needed a living donor, someone to come forward and...
So now, with this issue, did music become a part of your life partly because of... because I would have to think that you were maybe not in the best of health. Was that part of your process?
My music style changed, but I've been doing it since I was 10.
Okay.
So, how I started is I got like a bass. Somebody said that I sounded good on it, so I started playing with it. Then for Christmas I got a 4-track. Kept doing that, and then later on, during the whole dialysis and stuff, then slowly it started changing. I guess my style changed because of this whole situation.
So from you started becoming more introspective, perhaps. when you kind of determine from something that you were going through, it probably does really come up with a lot more things. You really start thinking of, how this all is going to affect everyone, right? And yourself, too, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. A 4-track, by the way, 4-track recorder, so that you were able to record your own demos.
Oh, see, now yeah.
There we go.
Very.
This is, by the way, Friday Matinee, and we are speaking with Hans San Juan and Angela Carole Brown, whose connection is not only as friends, but also the physical connection in that Angela had donated her kidney to Hans. We are going to talk more about that, and also their art and Angela's
kidney.
book. Right after this is the Friday Matinee.
I'm T. Katz.
And I'm George Cummings. We'll be right back after this.
Your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
There's no
Truer words could not be spoken, Mr. Sinatra. There's no business like show business.
Nothing like it in every possible media source and application.
Good
It's
work
the
when
best.
you can get it.
Yes, well, there's that.
This is the Friday Matinee. I'm George Cummings.
And I'm T. Katz.
See, I didn't have to point at you.
You didn't. I knew exactly when it was my moment.
We are speaking with our guests, Angela Carole Brown and Hans San Juan, both incredibly talented artists, and also connected in so many ways by the fact that Angela had actually donated a kidney to Hans, which in fact helped save his life.
And how
It's
many
an
years
amazing
ago did this take place?
Our 5-year anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks.
Very cool. Very cool. And as I said, again, I think you got the most creative kidney, and I wondered if it had affected, you shared a moment during the break where you had expressed something, Hans, and Angela's, immediately, I feel that same way. I do wonder sometimes the transference of what you actually experience now, because you carry a little bit of her. And I was going through your lyrics online, some of them, and I have to tell you, I love words. I consume words and spew words like nobody's business. Every report card I ever had as a child said I talk too much. Can you imagine such a thing? But I have to tell you, your lyrics, I had to look up, tell me if I'm saying it wrong, gustatory? Gustatory. Your lyrics are so delicious, both on the ear and in the mouth. The lyrics are great. And there was another one, she yells through the mirror, but no one can hear her cry. They're stories. Again, because you're a storyteller, Angela, Hans, your lyrics, besides being beautiful music, and tell everyone your website if they want to go and hear your music.
HansSanJuan.com.
So it's HANSSANJUAN if they want to go and listen to the music. But they tell stories that besides being beautiful, haunting musically, your lyrics are almost each and every song is a mystery or a psychological thriller or a drama of some type.
I guess I was trying to make a rock opera. It's supposed to be a movie, but I don't have the money to make a movie.
Well, that's why you're here, to put it out there if anyone's looking to produce a rock opera called KHTS. Well, George mentioned when you were going through dialysis, we were talking about introspection, where you kind of look into yourself. Do you find that your storytelling, you write always to tell a story, or what's the process for you?
I try to sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes if it's been a while since I've created music, I'll just do the music first, and I have a loop pedal, so I kind of really build everything right then and there. And then I'll just walk around my room for about 2 hours just singing random things, and whatever catches my attention I write down. And I have I use my phone now, but I used to have a computer on just to hear any random words I'd say, and I'd probably even say them wrong, and then look it up, and then it would tell me do you mean this word? Then I'd look it up and go, okay, I guess so. That's kind of how I.
So now you mentioned you played bass.
Yeah.
What other instruments?
I do guitar and singing. I mean, on the album I did everything but drums and a saxophone piece. That was it. So, but everything else was me.
how long is the songwriting process for you? Like if you're working on multiple songs, or you're just working on, you're really dedicated to one. Is there a time?
Yeah, I mean, for this second album, I thought I had it planned out, but then I get really frustrated, and it's probably because it goes I like hear it over and over that I'm just sick of it. So like I'll have to put it away and then start another album project thing, and then I can go back to it. So I mean, altogether, I feel like so far to make an album takes me about 2 years.
Okay.
But I can create
having a very big baby.
Yeah, but all those songs were created all within 1 week. So like I can write about, I guess like in one day I can create about 7 songs, and then I can come back to them, and the only thing I'm doing afterwards is just soloing over it.
It's the refining process. You come up with an idea, and that's the thing I think I like in that songwriting process, or any type of creative process, where you can just kind of set it there. You've taken it so far, instead of having the pressure to try and finish and make something out of it that may not be coming out of you naturally. Yeah. So that's a really interesting prospect or idea, and I could hear it in your music as well. It's really cool.
Now, I mentioned that to me, you do have a lot of Pink Floyd, and I have to tell you, you're a young man. Pink Floyd was mostly Roger Waters and Syd Barrett, and the stories that came from Syd and what was in his mind, and Roger and what he heard. You're the whole package. You are everything. But did you have influences musically that you just gravitated to and thought, wow, I want to make that. I want to be that.
Oh yeah, all the time, and fun. Like nowadays, I listen to everything. Like some people don't even understand why I listen to like certain music that they would really think I don't listen to.
People would never expect I'm a T-Pain fan, but I totally am.
Like exactly, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I did listen. Like I was listening to Pink Floyd, literally right the day I woke up from the transplant. I've never heard of, like I heard Pink Floyd songs, but I never knew it was them. And I just asked my sister, I was like, hey, do you have anything Pink Floyd? She's like, oh, this is Dark Side of the Moon. And I put it on.
Best album
and
ever.
And it was my recovery album.
Beautiful.
Until I got out of the hospital.
Beautiful. Very nice. I have to say, I mean, I think listening to all music, I grew up, and my kids have grown up with everything from classical to rap. I'm a huge Eminem fan, and I'm a huge Bach fan. I think anything for the ears is the most delicious thing. And Angela, again, you are queen of all the senses. And I was only half joking, saying that there are a couple things I'm gonna expect to see next. But we're gonna talk about your book and some of your art coming up.
We are talking with Angela Carole Brown and Hans San Juan, two incredible artists who share a connection that we'll talk about more after this. This is the Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back.
Your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
There's no business.
1223 on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is the Friday Matinee. You're Katz.
And you're George Cummings.
Indeed I am. And we have some very exciting guests we have with us today. Incredibly talented. Two artists who share more than just their art in common. We have Hans San Juan, who is a musician who plays locally here. And I saw you've been playing at the VU lately on Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
Are you still doing it?
There.
Okay, and also we have Angela Carole Brown, who is of the five senses in an artistic sense.
You have to go and see her website. Would you tell everyone your web address?
AngelaCaroleBrown.com.
And Carole with an E.
Carole with an E at the end.
Okay.
Indeed.
And it's wonderful. You pop on it, and it's an image of a face. You click on it, and your buttons, ear, eye, the 411. I like that. But what was your first love? What's it said? You say you're a musician by trade.
Yes.
But what was your first love?
Writing.
Writing was your first love.
Yes, always.
And you have a book that's the assassination of
Gabriel Champion.
It's
my newest novel.
Tell us a little bit.
Published. The assassination of Gabriel Champion is a sort of a meditation on violence and redemption, set in the world of art and artists. It's an LA story, so that's a little unique in that most art scene stories are taking place in New York, if not Europe. rarely L.A. But
Rarely
there
LA.
is an art scene.
We are
in
so
LA.
artistic
Absolutely.
here.
And it's basically a story that asks the question, what can we forgive?
Wow. Sometimes little things, sometimes big things.
Right.
And your last book was also artists.
Yes, Trading Fours was my first published book. Came out in 2006, and it's about musicians. So
And tell us what trading fours means. It has
Trading
to do-
fours is a jazz term, and it has to do with when, after the form is played, they go into solo sections where each instrument gets
A
4
turn.
bars to solo, and they sort of go in a round.
So
that
4
way.
measures each, and
Yes,
they move
until
around.
the form is
And so
completed.
there's a connection yet a separation inside of the music.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm interested to read that story.
Yeah, and my use of that for the title is got a double meaning in that it's the music term, but it's also a story of four different stories that eventually intertwine.
Now, assassination. That's
a
them
big
fighting
word.
words. And it sounds very, very scary. Is it?
It's not a mystery, but it's got a lot of intrigue
Oh.
and a lot of sort of film noir elements. So kind of a dark tale.
Very nice. Well, LA's kind of a dark city when the sun goes down. You know, we get a lot of sunshine. Everything's bleached out, but there's some darkness in the town.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially in the arts, because it's we all suffer a little bit for what we love and what we do. George especially.
Indeed.
George is a man who's doesn't get a lot of sleep. He's here. He's on the stage. So, but as artists, yeah, we do. And you have literally a figure in all areas of art.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you the music is your livelihood?
Yes, I've made my living with it for about 25 years.
And are you performing around town now, or are you recording, or do you have any projects coming that we?
A little bit of everything. I've got steady work. I've got I'm the lounge queen. So I've had gigs, steadies at most of the hotels.
And on your
You know.
website, we can also go and hear your music, which was,
Yes, absolutely.
was delightful. And
Thank you.
And a little taste of everything, a little jazz,
Little folk, yeah.
little folk. It was
Also involved in a very, very, very cool project called Elvis Schoenberg's Orchestra Surreal.
Oh, say it again. Elvis Schoenberg's
Orchestra Surreal.
Surreal.
It's a 26-piece orchestra that's very, very surreal. It's sort of Spike Jones meets Frank Zappa meets Cirque du Soleil. And,
all the hot buttons.
Yes. And I front the band with a couple of other singers, and I am the character, the fabulous Miss Thing,
Oh, Miss Thing.
who I say is a cross between RuPaul and Norma Desmond.
Delicious. Delicious.
And we actually have a gig coming up at Catalina Bar and Grill in 2 weeks, July 26th. Friday
Oh,
night.
if you haven't been, first of all, the Catalina Bar and
It's a
Grill is
very cool place.
It's a super venue for
Yes,
music.
yes.
It's intimate, it's warm, but you're going to get 26 pieces in there.
I always say whenever we try to go into
You're
a
going to
club,
be eating and
it's,
playing at all at
right,
once.
exactly. I always say it's kind of like stuffing clowns in a car. You know?
Wonderful, wonderful, and sounds like it's a treat for the ears and the eyes.
Yes.
Again, multiple sensory.
It's a wonderful project that I'm really happy to be a part of.
All right, then. I look forward to hearing more projects. Are you going to be working together at any point, do you think?
I
you
think
and
we
Oz?
need to.
I think that would be very nice, especially because you finish each other's sentences during the break. You have a lot of the same sensibilities. I would love to hear a project between the two of you, what comes from that.
Yes.
So I think it's amazing that you gave this young man the gift to go on and create what I consider really magical music, really delightful music. And how lucky are you that you have this, again, best kidney ever, because she's a lovely, creative
Best
woman.
kidney ever.
Should be on a shirt. But you have this great connection and this this life-saving gift, and also the friendship. She's a super woman, so yay
And
for
that's
both of you.
HansSanjuan.com and AngelaCarolBrown.com, Carol with an E. Thank you so much for coming on the
Check
Friday
them out.
Matinee.
Thank you.
We wish you
Such
the
a
best of
pleasure.
luck and success in the future.
Absolutely.
And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
is 12:30. This is the Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be back after this.